My parents were very abusive to each other, and my stepmom was also very abusive to my sister and I as well. Physical, mental, emotional, all of it. But from those two was physical. Well, I mean, it was all the abuse.
Looks like the Braxton family just can't catch a break. And this time, the drama is darker than anything we've seen before. Their niece Ashlee just dropped a bomb that cracked open decades of secrets the family tried to bury. And when I say bomb, I mean emotional damage, betrayal, and silence that runs deep. Because what started as one woman sharing her truth turned into a full-blown family meltdown with ex-husbands, hidden trauma, and shocking confessions flying everywhere. Now we're about to dive into how Ashlee Braxton's story exposed a curse that's been haunting the Braxton family for generations. Ashlee, the niece of music legend Toni Braxton, went public on TikTok with a story that left fans speechless. She revealed that when she was just 16, one of her aunt's husbands crossed serious boundaries, and instead of getting love and protection from her family, she got shame and silence. You'd think her family would rally around her, right? Nope. The Braxtons turned their backs completely. Even worse, Ashlee says her own father, Michael Jr., sent her a cease and desist, basically threatening his own daughter for speaking up. That's ice cold.
We have had a series of unfortunate events in the Braxton family lately.
What we were told is you didn't want to film with us.
Well, you already know why I want to film with y'all.
Wait a minute, hold on.
My niece Ashlee, who we love very much, posted her videos on social media with some accusations about her family.
The only one who reached out, Tamar, and that hit different. Tamar liked Ashlee's post, reconnected privately, and admitted she'd faced something painfully similar when she was younger. It was like two generations finally realizing the family silence wasn't strength, it was damage. But what Ashlee didn't realize was that her story wasn't new. It was just the latest echo of a pattern that started decades ago. For years, the Braxtons built their brand on unity, gospel roots, and sisterhood. But behind that glossy image was a family obsessed with appearances. Their matriarch, Evelyn, became known as the strong, no-nonsense mother who raised stars. But that strength came at a price. Silence. When Tamar revealed she'd been touched as a child, her sisters didn't exactly rush to comfort her. Instead, they gave those cold, that's her truth statements that felt like subtle disbelief.
Okay, I gotta call you back. I'm about to have Bible study.
Why?
Because I'm saved. And I read the word. Because it's important to know the word. How else we gonna battle all these demons and witchcraft? How else you gonna do it?
Imagine bearing your soul and your own sisters act like you just ruined the family's PR. It's heartbreaking, and it shows the Braxton curse in motion. Protect the family name even if it destroys the family itself. And if you think that's cold, just wait. Because the roots of this dysfunction go all the way back to Mama Evelyn and Michael Braxton Sr. Before there was fame, there was chaos. Michael Sr. wasn't exactly father of the year. After his marriage to Evelyn fell apart, he didn't just move on, he married the woman he cheated with. That betrayal cut deep, leaving Evelyn to raise their kids alone. She taught her daughters to be tough, not tender. Survival came before softness, and when she ended up in the hospital after a serious injury, Toni stepped up, becoming the second mom overnight. From that moment, the pressure on Toni was unreal. Her dream of being a singer wasn't just hers anymore. It became the family's golden ticket. And the weight of that responsibility, crushing. But the success that was supposed to save the family ended up tearing them apart.
I went to the doctor. My heart was aching. It was like I had had every test done. I had the echo done. I had the EKG. I had blood work done. And I went to get the angio. And the doctor was like, no, that's your pre-op. I said, what do you mean my pre-op? No, you having surgery. We got to look inside your heart.
When Toni Braxton hit the charts, she didn't just arrive, she exploded. That smoky voice, the heartbreak in every lyric, the look, the presence, she became an instant icon. R&B finally had a new queen who could make pain sound luxurious. But behind the shimmer and Grammys was a family story that wasn't nearly as picture perfect. According to her ex-husband, Keri Lewis, Toni's rise came with a price, her sisters. He claimed Toni used them like pawns to keep her own career shining. And honestly, it kind of looked that way. Tamar was in the background shaping the very sound that made Toni famous, layering those whispery, angelic notes that gave songs like Breathe Again their haunting edge. Her voice was there, but her name wasn't. Towanda and Trina were the silent workforce too, handling errands, styling, background vocals, whatever needed to be done to keep the Toni Braxton brand flawless.
Please welcome.
Toni Braxton!
She's so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much.
It was a family operation, but the credit never trickled down. Every magazine cover said Toni Braxton, and never the Braxtons. At first, they all told themselves it was worth it, that Toni's success was also their success. But fame has a funny way of changing things. As Toni's star rose, the distance between her and her sisters grew wider. She was dining with record executives and performing at award shows while they were still figuring out rent. That kind of imbalance doesn't just create jealousy, it creates quiet heartbreak. And then there was the weight Toni carried alone. The pressure to stay relevant in an industry run by titans like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. She had to compete, reinvent, and outshine while pretending everything at home was fine. Deep down, she knew every chart-topping hit came with guilt attached. The more she won, the more they felt left behind. Over time, that guilt turned into tension. Tamar, the fiery baby sister with a voice just as powerful, was tired of playing backup.
Everybody makes me feel guilty for leaving my family alone because they're toxic. Oh.
She wanted her own spotlight, not out of spite, but out of survival. She'd watched Toni be worshipped by the world and wanted a taste of that validation for herself. But the moment Tamar decided to step out of Toni's shadow, the cracks in the Braxton sisterhood split wide open. What started as quiet competition was about to explode into full-blown family chaos. Enter Vince Herbert, Tamar's then-husband, who decided it was time to turn all that sister drama into a TV empire. And just like that, Braxton Family Values was born. On camera, it looked like a glamorous reunion, a family of talented women laughing, crying, and rebuilding together. But the minute the camera stopped rolling, the energy shifted.
When did it change?
It sort of started when my husband passed.
Okay.
And when I did grieve for him, I was almost like punished for it. You know what I mean? So
What was supposed to be sisterhood turned into strategy. Every dinner became a debate about screen time. Every confessional turned into a subtle competition over who could get the most sympathy or the biggest laugh. Tamar's loud, magnetic personality made her the breakout star almost instantly, the one everyone tuned in for. Talk shows wanted her. Producers pushed her front and center. And while the spotlight got brighter for Tamar, it got colder for everyone else. Her sisters were left trying to find their footing in her shadow, smiling through gritted teeth while the world crowned Tamar the fan favorite. Towanda's ex-husband Andre later spilled that the jealousy behind the scenes was real. He claimed Towanda and Trina couldn't stand how Tamar kept stealing the spotlight, and that every filming day felt like a battlefield with fake smiles and hidden grudges. What viewers thought were minor arguments were actually years of resentment bubbling just below the surface. Even Toni's polished confidence became part of the tension. Ex-husbands like Andre and Keri said Toni had a habit of reminding everyone who the real star was. She wasn't trying to be cruel, but after decades of carrying the family, she wasn't about to hand over the crown quietly. Behind the laughter and catchphrases, exhaustion was setting in. Producers wanted drama, and the sisters delivered, sometimes at the expense of their real relationships. Arguments that could have been solved in private became national storylines. Inside jokes turned into public jabs, and every time one of them tried to pull away for peace, the network dangled another paycheck that pulled them right back in. Instead of fame bringing them together, it magnified every wound they'd tried to hide. The Braxtons weren't just performing for ratings, they were bleeding for them. But while the cameras captured the laughter, tears, and table flips, the real drama was happening behind closed doors, where love turned into competition and pain turned into profit.
From an outside looking in, right? This is just me. Make an attempt. This is your family.
it's not right. I know I'm the baby or whatever you want to call me and the youngest. I could be the most opinionated, but I'm not the worst on the planet because I always come back for y'all.
You know that saying, hurt people hurt people. The Braxtons became living proof of it. Every sister walked into love carrying the same unhealed pain they grew up with. What they didn't realize is that when you don't heal your past, it just shows up wearing a different face. Towanda's marriage to Andre was a ticking time bomb built on love but buried under financial strain and resentment. She worked nonstop while he stayed home writing, and when the bills piled up, so did the anger. Their marriage turned into a quiet war over money, ambition, and pride. Towanda wanted partnership. Andre wanted control. And the longer it went on, the more their home started to feel like another battlefield in a lifetime of survival. Then there was Trina. Her husband Gabe turned humiliation into a habit, cracking jokes at her expense on national TV, treating her like a punchline instead of a partner. Every episode, you could see her confidence shrinking a little more. When that marriage finally ended, fans called it messy, but for Trina, it was freedom. Toni's love life wasn't much easier. From high-profile heartbreaks to her complicated connection with Birdman, it always seemed like she was searching for balance between her heart and her image. Rumors said their relationship fell apart because Birdman's lifestyle didn't match hers, that the glitz, the noise, the chaos was just too much for someone who spent her life craving peace. And then there's Tamar. 3 marriages, 3 heartbreaks, and a front-row seat for the world to watch her unravel. Each time she fell in love, it looked like the fairy tale she'd been chasing her whole life. But every time it ended, she fell harder. Her breakdowns weren't just emotional, they were generational. Even Tracy, the quiet one, couldn't escape the pattern. When rumors surfaced that her husband fathered a child outside their marriage, she forgave him publicly but carried the pain privately. And when her health declined, she made one last powerful move, leaving everything to her son and nothing to her husband.
And then she decided, to be that way with my sister and I. But then there were moments as well where my dad was also physically abusive as well. That's kind of the only memories that I really have of my parents.
A silent mic drop that spoke louder than words. It was her final message to the world. Protect your peace, not your pain. But while fans watched the scandals unfold like TV drama, what they didn't see was the invisible thread tying it all together. The emotional curse that started at home. Every broken marriage, every argument, every tear was just another chapter in a story written long before any of them were old enough to change it. See, this isn't just drama. This is generational pain dressed up in designer clothes. The Braxton story runs deeper than any TV argument or messy headline. It's what happens when survival becomes the only kind of love a family knows. Evelyn Braxton didn't raise her daughters to be open or gentle. She raised them to endure, to fight, to push through, to never let anyone see them weak. And while that kind of strength looks powerful from the outside, it comes with a cost. Because when you teach someone to survive, you forget to teach them how to feel safe. That's why love in the Braxton family has always come with strings attached. Approval is earned, not given. Affection is measured by success. Every compliment feels like a competition. Every achievement like a threat. The sisters grew up believing that being loved meant being useful. And once you stop being useful, you disappear. Toni carried the family's future on her back before she was even old enough to understand what that meant. Tamar spent her life trying to prove she was more than the baby sister with attitude. Towanda and Trina hustled for recognition in a house where attention was a scarce resource. And Tracy, the quiet one, the one who stayed loyal through every argument, she absorbed everyone's pain until it crushed her spirit. When you really think about it, the Braxtons didn't just inherit talent, they inherited trauma. The same unspoken rules that came from Evelyn's heartbreak and Michael Sr.'s betrayal. They learned early that silence keeps the peace, that image matters more than honesty. So every time something painful happened, it got buried under another photo op, another TV season, another performance. Money, fame, and men, none of it ever healed what was broken. If anything, it made the silence louder, echoing through every interview and every fake smile. You can hear it in the pauses between their words, in the way they cut each other off when things get too real. And the saddest part? They turned their trauma into entertainment. What the world saw as reality TV moments were actually decades of suppressed pain bubbling to the surface. Every argument, every tear, every fake apology packaged for ratings instead of healing. They've made millions letting the world watch them unravel, but it never brought them peace. At some point, the fame stopped being about music or legacy. It became therapy they never got. Only problem is, the whole world was watching. Decades later, it's clear the Braxton legacy isn't just about music or fame. It's about pain that keeps getting passed down like a family heirloom no one wants to inherit. Every generation ends up wearing the same scars, just dressed in new designer clothes. Evelyn's pride, Michael Sr.'s betrayal, Toni's crushing pressure to hold the family together, Tamar's breakdowns in the spotlight, Towanda's quiet exhaustion, Trina's heartbreak, Tracy's unspoken pain, and now Ashlee, the next generation, still battling the same demons her elders never faced. It's almost poetic in a tragic way. They sing about love, but struggle to show it to each other. They preach strength, but crumble in private. They perform unity on camera, but behind the scenes, it's every woman for herself. That's not fame, that's survival mode on repeat. And Ashlee's confession? It wasn't just another headline. It was a generational mirror, finally reflecting everything the Braxtons tried to hide. It forced the family and the world to see that behind the glam and gospel roots lies something deeper, a pattern of silence that's been breaking them for decades. Because the real curse isn't money, it isn't fame. It's that silence, the kind that turns pain into pride and truth into betrayal. Every time they stay quiet, they teach the next generation that speaking up means being alone. If Evelyn ever sat down, looked her daughters in the eye, and said, "I failed you in some ways," that single sentence could change the entire story. It could break the curse for good. But until that day comes, the Braxton saga will keep looping. The same heartbreak, the same rivalries, the same empty apologies played out for millions to see. Because surviving your pain might make you strong, but facing it together, that's what makes you whole. And the Braxtons, for all their fame, still haven't learned that lesson. So what do you think? Can the Braxtons ever break free from this cycle, or are they too deep in their own drama? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that like button. Share this with someone who loves a good deep dive, and subscribe so you never miss the next wild celebrity story.